Achievement of Southern Alberta really believes strongly that in order to achieve sustainability and to have an impact in a global environment, you have to start with the youth. You have to go back to the youth and you have to instill in them the values and the sustainability awareness that comes with practice, or the cognizance, the realization of what goes into this, that it doesn't just happen automatically. So although junior achievement is known for going into schools and delivering classes and programs on business, economics, leadership, those kind of type of templates, we also feel it's really important to go in and deliver the message that with success comes responsibility. So when we go into the classroom, we say, when you go out into the world, when you choose a place to work, make sure that there is a benefit with going there. It's not just always about the dollar. So we try to teach today's youth that look at places who are going to take care of the world, invest in the world, and who have a social conscience. So if it's important to you to work for a great corporate citizen, if you're a great corporate citizen or a great citizen yourself and you're a huge volunteer, then make sure that you're aware of this in your career choices and your career paths and what you choose to do. And we think that they'll have a lot more joy in their life, they'll feel more connected to their community and more connected to activities that make their community a great place to live. So I believe that's what junior achievement does, just by nature of our many mentors. We also do the Calgary Business Hall of Fame, and for those of you who know some of the individuals who've been inducted into that Hall of Fame, Mr. Jim Palmer, we have, the Seamans, Doc Seaman. We have some amazing individuals who have been the lifeblood of some of the nonprofit organizations and some of the initiatives that add value to this community. We want these kids to know what a great community, corporate, engaged citizen and trailblazer looks like, because we're going to rely on these kids to pick up that torch and carry on if we want to compete on all levels as a great place to live, to work, to play, as we say in Calgary. We want Calgary to be at the top of that wonderful places in the world, and the only way we're going to do that is by being aware of global issues, sustainability issues, social issues, and community issues, and making sure that we have the resources, money, human, or whatever it takes to achieve those goals. As we see the nonprofit community evolve and try to find efficiencies and just survive within the global economy, you're going to see more networking. You're going to see folks work together to maximize their resources, to have a louder voice, and to have more of an impact within the community. Historically, we haven't evolved fast enough to realize that what we bring as far as value is long-term, and it should be sustained. And by working together, gaining that voice, gaining that awareness, and having that place at the corporate table or in the corporate conscience, then we will start to impact how businesses do business. So for us, it's just working with like-minded people to realize what is working in this city. Where do we have an opportunity to make an impact, and how can we be stronger by working together to make sure that the right messages are going out there and that we're hooking up with the corporate community. For junior achievement, when we actually work with our partners, and we work closely with our partners, we practice London benchmarking guidelines, we try to do address a lot of the concerns that the corporate community has. And one of the concerns they have is wanting to vicariously be more involved in community, not necessarily having the immediate availability to go out there and do all of the volunteer efforts. But certainly if we say we're involved with initiatives like Imagine Calgary or different activities that enhance the sustainability of the city, it makes it that much easier for them to support us, because then they know that our reporting back to them is going to report back on activities that we do that make a difference in, obviously, the communities they serve. So that whole bundled cause-related approach really works well for us to do, giving us the resources, both human and financial, to do what we need to do, and actually usually resonates within the giving pillars of the corporate community. So we find that we have the ability to be that connection, that bridge between corporate, nonprofit, and allow them to have a vehicle to hit those grassroots needs that the city really has to work together. So it's a triage effect. I think now more than ever, especially coming out of this, and I like to call it an economic level set. I think that we had to see a self-correction. But as we self-correct, I think you're going to see a lot of excess trimmed off. You're going to see a lot of projections that make sure that what we're creating today and what is real today is sustainable for everyone. So I think as we come through this period of self-correction, you're going to see a lot of the communities, whether it's corporate, government, education, and nonprofit, having to work more closely in order to be effective. So I think for people, it just makes sense. It just makes sense to not be duplicating a lot of resources, not be duplicating a lot of efforts, and being a little leaner and meaner when it comes to getting the job done. So Imagine Calgary gives that collective voice, it gives that collective recognition piece, and it allows people to have their spot in the communications network. So for me, any opportunity we have to have our voice out there and be recognized as more than just a provider of economic business programs or leadership programs, but to be actually identified as a catalyst for change or an organization that believes we need to put our great corporate citizens forward and our great corporate leaders forward and say, this is what has made us great, this is what has built this city, and we need to embrace that, and we need to make sure that we're all rallying at this point in time to build those bridges that allow us to do what we do so well in this city, and that's, build communities. I think we have to get back to ground zero, trim the fat, and work together to find efficiencies. So for me, I think Imagine Calgary allows us to have a gathering point that didn't previously exist, a voice that may not exist, especially for organizations as myself, where our prime business is not always known to be sustainability or globally focused. So just through affiliation, we have access to these training and communication vehicles. So I think on that front, it adds huge value to smaller.